Hi, Walter.
Hi.
So, what brings you in today? What do you want to talk about?
I'm just very nervous and anxious about my impending retirement from the military
When are you retiring?
in about 6 months.
Oh, so that's coming up pretty fast.
Yeah, I guess so.
And how many years of service did you have?
24.
24. Wow. So, are you excited to retire or?
I'm ready to retire. I think I don't want to do this anymore. Um, but now I don't quite know what to do with myself, how to get going in a new career. Maybe, obviously a new career field. There's not a lot of demand in the civilian world for my particular set of skills I've been utilizing for the past 24 years. So I'm going to have to figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, so that's a big change because you've been a soldier for a long time. So,
Yep.
okay. So, have you looked at any possible career fields or put out any resumes, or are you still working on that?
I haven't put out any resumes yet, so I have to go through sort of a transition process the military makes you do as you leave the military, and they have services available where you can write a resume, have somebody review it, and they can link you up with potential employers that are sort of in that network that they have a relationship with.
So they do offer support with that transition. It's just kind
Yeah,
of get going.
yeah, but and they have people that can help you write a resume and all these other things. It's just difficult to kind of even think about what I want to do because it's the only thing I've ever done. I don't really know what else to do. So it's hard to put together a resume that is sort of geared toward whatever a potential employer would be looking for because I really don't know what I want to apply for.
Okay. So what do you think? And what are some of the experiences of your peers that have gotten out of the military? Have you talked to them? Do they have any advice,
Yeah, I mean, some of them,
or did they all kind of know what they wanted to do?
um, I don't know if they knew what they wanted to do. I mean, it's been a sort of diverse experience, I guess, for all of them. Like some of them have just retired and they don't do anything now. But most of them, I say most of them, only a couple, they were single. They didn't have a family to support. They had saved enough money throughout their military career that when they got out of the military, they were done. So they're completely finished. They don't really have a lot to worry about. That's not the case with me. Other people I know have sort of done the obvious thing, going into law enforcement of some kind, all the way from like a nighttime security guard all the way up to actually working as a detective someplace or something like that. Um,
Do those areas interest you at all?
um, I don't know, a little bit, but I kind of feel like that would be kind of like the easy way. Like that's the obvious answer, and it's not something I particularly want to do. I mean, one of the reasons I want to get out of the military is to not have to deal with my days are very, very long. They don't end sometimes, really. I'm never quite um, switched off. At this point in my career, I'm in charge of people, and that's a 24-hour job. And so I kind of want to get away from that sort of thing. And I don't think law enforcement is necessarily something that's going to allow me to do that.
Mm. So it sounds like you want to make the transition and you want to change, but you're just nervous and kind of anxious about
Yeah, I
how all
don't know
that
what to do.
process is going to take place. So how does it make you feel? Do you have any symptoms, physical symptoms, when you think about this, or
Well, I'm not sleeping particularly well.
is that
Um,
something that's just happened since this has come up, or has it been a persistent problem?
I guess it's sort of ever since it's gotten worse as I get closer to
Closer to retirement.
having to get out. I mean, other than that, no. really just having a hard time sleeping, which when I don't do that, then I feel tired and everything during the day, and so I guess it had some consequences, other than just not sleeping, but that's mostly it.
Okay. Have you ever sat down and made like a list of the things that you might like to do or um, possibilities for the next step and weighed the pros and cons and then tried to fit those into a job placement?
No,
No.
no, no, not
Okay.
really.
And what's your family situation? Are you guys going to stay local, or are you willing to move, or does it
I
matter?
think we're willing to move. I mean, we've been moving every 3 years or so for the past 24 years. So we're not against moving, but difficulty with that is my wife does work here, so
She would have
it's
to up
always
and
she would have to quit working, and then we won't have an income other than my retirement, which isn't enough for us all to live off of. So we would both be looking for a new job wherever we go.
so it might be best to stay
So
local.
it might be a better idea to stay here. And we're not from here or anything, but at least she's got a job.
And have you talked through that decision of staying here just to give you some stability for a while?
Yeah, we have. We haven't decided, but
Okay. So it sounds like a lot of your anxiety might be reduced if you just took some steps toward making this transition. Because if a lot of your issues are surrounding the actual transition, the best way you can kind of prepare for that is to start working on it so you're best prepared when the day does come. So you said you have a resume. Is it up to date so that you are ready to submit it if you have to submit it this week?
no, probably not. I mean, it's sort of all it is just a list of everything I've been doing
Okay.
in the military, where I've been, the job I had. But
Okay, so it sounds like for homework, maybe you could talk to your transition counselor and have them look over your resume and work with them to update it so that it's, ready to go. And then maybe you could also work on looking on USA Jobs or one of the websites that caters to retired military and see if there's something on there for a fit. And then when you come back in a couple weeks, we can kind of figure out what you found. And I would venture to guess that you're going to look for jobs that are in with us. When you see them, they'll be within a specific arena that will be interest to you, and that might inform you going forward, so that you don't have so much broad categories of which you can apply. You can kind of narrow it down that way. Do you think that's something you could work on between now and
yeah, I mean,
the next couple
I'll try and work
weeks?
on my resume.
Do they have any job fairs for on the base?
I don't know if they have a job fair, but they've got those transition counselors, and I know that they're linked up with certain employers out there that you could call and talk to them about what is this job, what sort of thing would I be doing? Is that something I'd be interested in? Yeah, it's just hard to get going, I guess, because I'm worried that I'm not going to find anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to wind up in a dead end job someplace, or jumping job to job. I want to just find the right fit and start a second career and not just bounce around from meaningless job to meaningless job.
And if you have to do that, what's the worst that happens if you get out and you change jobs a few times within the next few years?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would just feel like I was wasting time. Even though I'm earning a paycheck, if I know I'm not going anywhere in that career, if I don't feel like I'm doing something that matters to me, I'm not going to like the job. I'm probably not going to be particularly happy, and I don't want that to affect me and my relationship with my family and my attitude toward things. So I want to make sure I find the right thing, and it's
a lot. It's very.
I'm worried that I'm not going to.
Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds very normal. I think a lot of people in your position who've had their career relatively young, you're ending a career and beginning a new chapter. It's a big life transition, and I think a lot of people are a little apprehensive of making that next step. But I think if we can take some concrete steps toward that, it will alleviate some of the anxiety that you're feeling about it, and you'll feel more prepared going into it. So I'll see you back in a couple of weeks, and if you want to bring a copy of your resume between now and then, if you could get that updated, and then maybe a list of a few jobs that you found that you think might be of interest, and we can kind of talk through what's interesting about those and if they'd be a good fit. Does that sound good?
Okay.